Back at Fremont Street, which can only mean one thing, it's time for some uncapped action at the Golden Nugget. Ethan, Yutaka, and Kentali are all with us. To say we have no clue what's about to hit us is a complete understatement. This vlog has a little of everything in it. We buy in for $2,000, we stack an opponent, and Ethan gets into a fight with a drunk vlog watching tourist. You better buckle up. The vlogs are getting better and better, and the way that you guys can show your support is just to drop a subscribe on this channel. As of right now, 69% of you that are watching it do not subscribe. I really appreciate all the support you can get. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons right now. Let's get into the hands. What's up, you guys? We're sitting here in the back room at the Golden Nugget. We're in for 2K at the 1-2. Ethan's here, a bunch of our other buddies are here. We're gonna try to run it up, get in some crazy hands, play some deep stack 1-2 for you guys. Let's get into the hands. I hope it's crazy. First hand to note, we look down at Ace-King offsuit from the big blind. The middle position comes in for a limp, and the small blind now raises it up to $10. Ace-King offsuit here is a premium, which means we're going to be 3-betting all day to $30. The middle position limper thinks if it's good enough for $2, it's good enough for $30. He sticks in 28 more chips, which brings in the small blind, and we're going 3 ways to the flop. Flop's a dynamic one. It comes Queen, Jack, 6 with all diamonds on the board, and the small blind checks it to me. Out of position to the middle position player. I think I'm going to start with a check here and see what he does. In this instance, he decides to check behind, and we're going to go off to a turn. Turn puts 4 diamonds out there. It comes a 10 of diamonds, with giving us Broadway, but we do not unfortunately have the king of diamonds in our hand here. Small blind starts with a check again, and although we will have the ace and king of diamonds in our hand a large portion of the time when we are the pre-flop aggressor, I decide to go for another check here. I don't want to be called by any diamond. I don't really think that any hand that beats us is going to be folding, so I don't want to bloat the pot unnecessarily. Sure enough, the middle position player now decides to go for a $75 bet into $90. Small blind quickly gets out of the way and action is on us. What are we doing here? 75 into 90. He's saying that he has a diamond in his hand, and obviously we do not have one of those. I just think there's going to be better spots here at the Golden Nugget. It's going to be some action for us to pick up in the future, so I'm going to let this one go here and see what he has. After folding our cards, the opponent kindly shows pocket 4s, but he did have a diamond, so he did have the best hand there. A raise would have done the trick, but I'm not trying to mix it up just yet. Let's go on to the next hand. Second hand, we look down at the beautiful Queen Jack of spades here from the button. It's 1-2, but the middle position decides to open it up to $17, a little 8.5x here, and the player on my right in the cutoff, he puts in the call. We could be going for a 3-bet here, which I think is probably the best play, but I decide just to call here, which brings in 2 other opponents, so going 5 ways to the flop. With 5 people in the pot, the flop comes Jack, 3, deuce with 2 spades. Absolute gin board for us here. Not only do we have top pair, we have the front door flush draw to go along with it. Middle position decides to continue the aggression and leads out for $45 into the $85 pot. The cutoff now says a couple funny words here. He says good night everybody and decides to shove his entire stack in for $138. We don't really know what to make of that, but obviously we're not going anywhere. If our jack isn't good, if we're behind king jack or ace jack, we have the spades to go along with it. We're not going to be going anywhere here. Real quickly, if you guys have ever experienced something like this and know what he means by good night everybody, is he strong? Is he weak? Is he on a draw? Does he have a made hand? Pause this video right now and drop a comment down below. I'm interested to know if it's strength or weakness. I put in the $138 on the button, and strangely the middle position player gets out of the way after his initial flop bet. Going off to a run out here, let's put a spade on there just for good insurance. Turn comes the ace of hearts, and the river comes the ace of clubs, so we're left with 2 pair here, jacks and aces with a queen kicker. We turn over our hand, showing it to the opponent, who decides to show us the identical hand. It's like they look in a mirror and then just flip the color of their suits. Too bad the dealer couldn't put a spade out there on the turn of the river, but we're going to chop up the other player's money here with the cutoff. Next hand, we're under the gun and look down at ace 8 of diamonds, which is good enough for a raise here at the Golden Nugget. I pop it up to $10. We get 5 callers, so we're going off to the flop here, very multi-way. Let's hope for some diamonds. You ask, you get here at the Golden Nugget. The flop comes 10-6-3 with 2 diamonds. We have the nut flush draw. Not slowing down here, I decide to bet $15 into the field. The hijack now decides that's not enough money. He's going to go for basically a min click back. He makes it $35. The action folds back around to me, and for $20 more here, the opponent is saying he has a pair like ace 10, maybe 2 pair, 10-6, something crazy like that, or a set. We're going to put in the additional $20 and look to cooler him here with a diamond on the turn. It's not all roses for us here at the Golden Nugget. The turn comes the jack of hearts. We don't get our flush right away. I'm going to start with a check. $120 in the pot. The hijack now makes a chunky bet of $70. I'm putting him on a set or a two pair, something like that. I think a draw would check behind here, and we do block some diamonds. But we're feeling sticky here, so when he bets $70, we're not going anywhere. I put in the $70 as well, and we're off to the river. Come on, dealer, one time here. Let's start our session off good. It's not what happens. He pairs the 10 of spades comes, and we're left here with just ace high, nothing to do but to check. So that's what I do, and now the opponent now shoves all in for $225. Snap fold coming from me. We have just ace high. He obviously has a great hand. On to the next hand. Next hand, we look down at 8-9 of spades from the small blind, and the straddle's on. It's a bunch of callers to me, and 8-9 of spades is good enough for a raise here from the small blind. I pop it up to $25. 4 people are interested in seeing the flop. They put in the $25, and we're going off 5 ways to the flop. Out of position to the flop. The flop is a bad one for us. It comes queen 6-6. We do have some backdoor draws like a 7, a 10, a 5. Maybe a spade could give us some draws as well. For that reason, I decided to go for a $25 bet here, just looking to see how the other players react to this small probing type bet. A great result comes for us when all the other players fold, so 9 high is going to take it down here. What do you guys think about me experimenting with some more probing type bets here? 25 into 125 takes it down. Ethan finally gets over to our table on the table change. He buys in for around $5,000, but the funniest part is when he pulls out his hand ranking chart that he keeps in his wallet. Guess he's just learning how to play poker. Yutaka sits right down next to him with a 5K stack of hundreds. This is where the night gets interesting. Right after Ethan sits down, we get into a pot with him. Here we have 1900 in our stack. We look down at 7-9 of clubs from the button. Ethan in the middle position doesn't waste any time and raises it up to $20. I put in the call here, just looking to outflop him, take down the pot in position. Heads up to a flop with $43 in the pot, which is pretty good for us. It comes king 10-4 with 2 clubs. This board is going to hit his range and my range pretty equally here. He bets $15. I'm going to have some king jack, king 10, pocket 10s, and some flush draws here. So for that reason, I decide to raise him up to $45 and see how he reacts. He doesn't really think too long before throwing in 6 more red chips, indicating a call, and we're off to the turn. Comes the 8 of clubs. We now have a flush and an open-ended straight flush draw. Life is good. Ethan checks it over to us, and I'm hoping he has a strong hand like king queen, ace king, something like that. So I decided to bet half pot here, just looking to induce him to potentially raise us. But that's why he has 90k subs. He sniffs it out here. He thinks we have value, or he just has a pretty crappy hand. He's gonna fold his hand, and we're gonna take that one down.
The hot redheads that are just going to come your way.
What was that?
I like money. Is this in or no? In my culture, we like money.
What is going on right now?
After all that mania, we look down at pocket 3s in the cutoff, and I raise it up to $15. Folds back around to Ethan, who decides to put in the call, so we're going heads up in position to the flop against our buddy. Flop comes 7-7 deuce with 2 hearts, and Ethan checks his action over to us. We have a pair, which is probably good if he has like ace jack, king queen, something like that. We're ahead, so I decided to go for $11 bet for value. Surprisingly, Ethan puts in the call, not believing us. Turn comes the jack of spades, which is going to connect with him and me pretty equally here. So when he decides to check it over to us for a second time, I decide to bet again for value here for $20. If he calls us here on the turn, I'm probably going to slow down and check on the river, but no need for that. Ethan folds his cards, and I show face up that we have pocket 3s. Ethan kindly shows queen 9, so he was in fact floating us on the flop, just looking to take it down with some weakness on the turn. But Ethan, new year, new me, no weakness here.
Oh, got him! I like to meet more people like him who brags about how much money they make, but only to play with $300 per table. Because he makes more than me. He has unlimited bankroll. Unlimited. Get at this table. What are you doing?
This table's getting spicy. We're trying to keep it together here. We look down at ace 8 of diamonds, and I pop it up to $10. I'm in middle position, and Ethan now 3-bets us to $55. Oh boy, here we go. I put in the call. We're trying to play a big pot with Ethan here, and we're going out of position to a board which comes 8-4-3 with 2 spades. There is 1 diamond on the board, but we have top pair, top kicker, so we're feeling pretty good about life. I start with a check like I would with my entire range. This board shouldn't connect too well with Ethan, other than the random pocket pairs he has in his range. He bet $75, which is pretty chunky, but we didn't call ace-8 of diamonds to flop top pair and fold, did we? I didn't think so. I stick in $75 and we're off to the turn. Turn's an interesting one because although it does give us 2 pair and we improve in that aspect, the front door spade draw comes in. I start with a check, nothing to do here other than check, and Ethan surprisingly checks behind. This ace of spades will connect with his range pretty hard, so I expect him to continue on the turn. That's not what he does, and we're off to the river. River puts a 4-liner to the wheel. Any deuce would now have us beat. Although we do have 2 pair, there are a lot of better hands that have us beat. For that reason, I decided to bet a tenth of the pot here, $25. Another one of those probing type bets, just looking to see what he does. Ethan takes $5K in $100 chips and picks them up and appears to almost cross the line before pulling it back and then flicking in 1 chip, indicating a call. Interesting move there by Ethan, but we turn over our 2 pair. He mucks his cards, and we're going to scoop that $313 pot. Last hand of the night, and it's definitely the best one, so buckle up. We look down at ace-queen offsuit from the big blind. Under the gun, who's a drunk guy who is chirping our buddy Ethan. We don't appreciate that, but he raises it up to $15 and gets 3 calls. I'm not going to let that go unpunished, and it also helps to the fact that we have ace-queen offsuit here, a premium hand. I pop him up to $60. The drunk dude now shoves all in for $350. That's all he had in front of him. Unlike the fact that he told Ethan he had unlimited buy-in, surprisingly in an uncapped game he only buys in for $300. Nevertheless, it folds back around to me, and this is a snap call here for multiple reasons. A, he's drunk, so ace-queen is going to be ahead of his range. He's also on tilt because Ethan has been chirping him all night. And C, I just want to win a pot here. As you can see, I only have 1965 in my stack. I bought in for $2,000, so right now we're stuck. The night's getting late. We're not going to have too many opportunities here, so I put in the call. Let's cooler this guy. $745 in the pot. We're off to a run out. Our buddy Utaka wants to know what we have, and I don't really like showing cards, so I just show him the queen of clubs. The flop comes queen high, queen 3-3. Hopefully we're good here. I doubt he has kings or aces. We're probably ahead. Turn comes the 10 of clubs, the river, 9 of diamonds. We needle the opponent and make him show first because he shoved onto us. He has ace-king, so surprisingly we were somehow behind here. But nevertheless, the poker gods come through. We're here for our boy Ethan. We got his back. Ace-queen is going to take the $745 pot. Let me get those chips, dealer.
Rebuy!
We cash out for $23.55, so a profit of $355, but who cares about that? Ethan and the drunk guy are back to chirping it again off the table, and the floor has to get involved. You're not going to want to miss this. And like ESPN, we had that front row coverage here, that HD film quality. You guys are going to enjoy this.
Hey, that's poker.
It's time to walk away now.
If it's friendly, then it's only on
Sir, it's time to walk away.
Yeah, hey, dude, I'm happy to clap back if you're talking. I saw it as hostile, so there you go.
No.
Appreciate it. All right, sweet.
No, I really respect you as a person.
Okay.
I respect you as your 230 game. I respect it because that's what I'm doing in Philly. Same thing as you're doing.
Okay,
I just
sweet.
don't Philly you. I just don't Philly you.
Why don't you give him a hug? Why don't you give him a hug? Give him a hug. Give him a hug. Give him a hug. He's a good guy.
Hope you're not upset.
I literally no, not absolutely all.
Okay, sweet. No, I love it. I appreciate it. Nice meeting you.
You don't care. So why am I gonna shake your hand?
No, I do. I appreciate you coming up.
What's up, you guys? We just finished up this crazy 1-2 session. In for 2K, out for 2,400. Got Conor McGregor, aka Rampage here, boxing and fighting with the drunk fish that we want to keep on the table. Instead, the game broke, but
Because he left.
he left. He said he made more than Rampage. Highly doubtable considering the fact that he only bought in for $100 when I stacked him. So if you want to see Rampage's little rant that he just did on his channel, go check it out. It's pretty funny. Just witnessed it. Like the video, subscribe if you're new, leave a comment down below. Good luck as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace! Thanks for watching to the end of my video. Click my head below to subscribe and stay in the loop. See you next time.